contain my excitement. Can you, girl? Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in to All Things Division 3 Soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. If you didn't know, I am Simple Coach. Of course, you know that there is Jackie hanging out, sleeping away. It's a rainy day, kind of ugly. But I cannot contain my excitement as we are a few days away from the start of the regular season for college soccer, in particular Division 3. So because I can't contain my excitement, I wanted to do this a little earlier than I thought. So I am going, and this is going to be something I'm going to be doing. So want to introduce you to game or games, because I can never watch enough, of the week. And so this is the first episode that hopefully will go throughout the season, where I'm going to pick a game or games that are on my must watch. And this weekend's particularly special because there's lots of tournaments, lots of teams playing multiple days. And so there is a cornucopia. I'm not even sure that's a word to use in this case, but there are a cornucopia of games that are available both on the women's side and the men's side. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, as I mentioned in one of the last episodes I did, I think on around D3, or I can't remember, I mentioned a bunch of the games that sort of were on my radar and I'm really excited about. I think just from an opening weekend standpoint, I think there are a lot more hyper competitive games on the men's side, or at least like real clashes, especially this early on, than on the women's side. But there's still some great games that are out there. I mean, I'm looking at the Martin Luther Cup between not that that's really a thing, Pacific Lutheran and Cal Lutheran on Friday the 1st. There is really interested to see is Christopher Newport versus Wisconsin Oshkosh, just because I'm really interested to see where Christopher Newport, how they kick off their season. And again, they've been one of the teams that's been really dominant in the last few years. They obviously won the national championship 2 years ago. So, lots of stuff going on. But, for the exercise, I basically took the weekend. And so I chose a men's and women's game on the first, a men's and women's game on the second. And then because, we're going to celebrate like it's 1999, my birthday on September 3rd. So I've selected games there, just that, again, just for whatever reasons, I can never define what they are, but they just sort of say something to me. So I'm like, oh, that's the game I got to watch. So, I just want to start out on for September 1st. So on the 1st, this game I'm particularly interested in because these are two teams that I think are on the cusp of sort of reaching that next level. Probably you could argue one is a little bit higher than the other, but I think they're pretty evenly matched. They are, they're both sort of, I'll just say, schools with a big time commitment to athletics. And so these are two teams that I think are going to sort of if they play it right and they sort of continue, they're going to reach a level that they'll be mainstays in obviously the NCAAs. And I'm speaking specifically about Mary Hardin Baylor versus Wisconsin Whitewater. They are facing each other, I believe, in Wisconsin. Let me just confirm that. Yes, they are at at Whitewater. Um, so Mary Hardin Baylor won the ASC championship and then made it to the first round of the NCAA's where they lost in the first round 2-1. And then Wisconsin Whitewater made it to the finals of their conference, but didn't win it. So I think I'm looking for competitive matches, and I think this is going to be a humdinger on Friday. On the men's side, I mean, this was a no-brainer for me. Like, holy smokes! So, and I'm talking about Chicago at St. Olaf. So Chicago national champions versus St. Olaf. That was a top 20 team. Absolutely fantastic work there by Travis Wall. However, the national championship winning coach for Chicago, Julian Sitch, is now in Denver, replaced by Philip Croft. And Travis Wall, who has built up St. Olaf, is headed to Kenyon to replace Chris Brown, who has retired there. So you're looking at a matchup between a national champion, top 20 matchup, new coaches. I think, listen, I said this last year every week. It's almost repetitive. But to me, there were two teams that were sort of at a different level than everybody else. One was Messiah, and the other was Chicago. And I think, again, I'm interested to see is can Chicago maintain that dealing with a new coach, and can St. Olaf make an early bust up of Chicago with new head coach? Yeah. So if you're looking for something to do on Friday, Mary Hardin Baylor, Wisconsin Whitewater, and Chicago St. Olaf. Fortunately, none of them play for the pay-per-view conference. If you're looking to support all things Division III soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie, hop on over to patreon.com/ all things Division III soccer and become a member. You will continue to get the great content on YouTube. I'll be doing some things over on Patreon just for members, and yeah, what a better way to make sure that Division III gets all of the attention that it deserves. Okay, so if Friday wasn't enough and you were looking to get more of your fill, again, another great slate of games. You're looking, there's Stevens at Messiah, two top 20 teams playing. I almost picked that game. You're looking Washington and Lee, Puget Sound. I'm very interested in Washington and Lee, and Puget Sound is another top 20 team in my book. McDaniel at Stockton, just because McDaniel. I don't want to say they had hit a bump in the road last year, but they are perennially out there, and I think they had a little bit of a slower year last year. Let's see what else is there. Another interesting one, if you ask me, Ohio Wesleyan at Albion. Again, two teams, solid programs. If you're looking to get out a little bit further west. So, but there's one matchup that really has me intrigued, and I'm talking about Smith College, William Smith College of Hobart and Smith College, against College of New Jersey at I actually think this is maybe at Haverford. I'm not sure. It's not in either place. Anyhow, Smith College, led by Alisanne Wilbur, had a banger of a year last year, coming in 7th. And College of New Jersey has a new head coach, Danny Blaine, who is former Widener coach, and so I do know that why this one jumped out. Aside from the fact they're two great teams, again, Smith College with the huge, great success last year. Um, College of New Jersey is looking to get back to where Joe Russo had the team for years, right? One of the premier Division III women's programs in the country. So that should be a really great matchup. Again, these are all games I'm talking about are all, as far as I'm concerned, are great examples of Division III soccer. So on the men's side, I mean, there is so much going on. You know, oh, you know, Lynchburg at Christopher Newport. I mean, wow, that's the Battle of Virginia, as far as I'm concerned. That they might marshal in troops. But Ohio Wesleyan at Calvin, an annual game that is absolutely fantastic soccer. So, I am the game I've chose, however, is Stevens at Franklin and Marshall. Number 3 Stevens, who made it to the semifinals and lost to Chicago 1-0, 2-0. Can't remember. I'm looking to see if they're still going to stay at that level. And then Franklin and Marshall, number 18, who, it's interesting, they were both destined to meet in the NCAAs. It was crash course between these two until Cortland went to F&M and took F&M to PKs and beat them. So, and then obviously we know the story. Stevens ended up in the semis of the semifinals of the national tournament. So, I mean, fantastic game, two different styles. I would think Stevens is going to hold the ball a little bit more. I would think Franklin is going to go after it, super hungry. So, really good, interesting matchup on Saturday. So, after we eat cake, after we have cupcakes with the candles, after you send me all the gifts, after Jackie sleeps and celebrate my birthday, Sunday, September 3rd, there are 2 games again that I will be tuned into and watching. The women's side shouldn't surprise, right? Number 1, Johns Hopkins faces Scranton, University of Scranton. I think they were ranked 15th, 16th, or that's their ranking, whatever that means, preseason. These are 2 programs I admire, 2 outstanding coaches, Coach Wheeler and Coach Pivorato. Coach Wheeler at Johns Hopkins and Coach Pivorato at Scranton. It's an absolute cracker of a game. Scranton won their conference champs from in the pay-per-view conference, formerly known as Landmark Conference, taking on national champions Johns Hopkins. I think this is at Johns Hopkins, so I think you'd be able to see the stream. But these are obviously Hopkins with the national championship. See if they're still at that level. Keep cruising. They've reloaded, and then Scranton is right just there to make the jump, and then sort of become the elite, I think, top 10 team that they legitimately are. So really intrigued by that game. And then on the men's side, I'm actually going to go out to Ohio. It's Ohio game. It's the Battle of Ohio to open up the season. Number 5 Kenyon, led by new head coach Travis Wall that I mentioned earlier, faces an outstanding team that I love to hate to love. I don't know how that would work. Although I am a kind of a sort of fan. Coach Dayon keeps sending me stuff, so I can't not root for John Carroll when I see them playing. John Carroll is at Kenyon on Sunday. So again, what's Kenyon how is Kenyon reacting to the new coach? Is John Carroll again reloading? They do reload. I mean, I can tell you that much. The recruiting class, they're not going to skip a beat. I definitely think this is a start of the season. Can they make some waves by taking it to Kenyon? So that is definitely a game that I am going to be watching. All right, so there it is. By game/games of the week. On Friday, Mary Hardin Baylor at Wisconsin Whitewater. On the women's side, on the men's side, Chicago at St. Olaf. On Saturday the 2nd, check out Smith College against College of New Jersey. And on the women's side, and then for the men, check out Stevens and Franklin and Marshall. On Sunday, the greatest day of all days. Did I tell you it was my birthday? On the women's side, Scranton versus Johns Hopkins, and John Carroll versus Kenyon for the men. So 6 games. Like I mean, what kind of, this is just outstanding value that I provide, right? I don't forget the game of the week. Let me give you multiple games to watch. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful kickoff weekend. I hope whatever games you watch, they are full of excitement and wonderful soccer. Shout out to all the players, all the coaches, all the hard work. Always comes down to moments like this. So wish you all the best, no injuries, and all the success. So I will see you guys at a minimum next week when I do another game or games of the week. Like I said, I'm going to try to make this weekly, so at least to highlight some games that really pop on the radar. So with that, catch you. Want to say goodbye?